Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Homestead Challenge podcast. I am so excited. I have another guest on today. This is Brooke from the Wellness Farm Chat podcast. And I think that if you like listening over here, then you will really love to hear from her. And today we are going to be talking about some biohacking, which is an area that I haven't explored enough, but I'm really excited to hear Brooke's experiences on everything. Obviously, neither of us are medical professionals, so I have to put that out there. But it's really cool to hear from people's experiences. I feel like when you're online, everyone's trying to sell stuff in this department when it comes to biohacking, be it saunas or red light therapies or cleanses or anything like that. So it's really cool to hear people's real life experiences. But Brooke, would you please tell us a little bit about yourself, your mission for your podcast, and all that good stuff?
Hello, and thank you for having me.
Yes.
So, my mission, I started this podcast because I really wanted to inspire other people or women and mainly moms. I feel like my journey started when I became a mom, and a lot of things started to happen with our health and all those little things that just popped up, like reactions and allergies and sicknesses. And yeah, that's where it kind of started. And then, yeah, it's just snowballed. And now I have a podcast. I share a lot of stories of what I'm doing, like parasite cleanses, fasting, and my little farm that we have going on here. So I'm a mom. I have 4 little kids, all under the age of 5. And yeah, wonder how that happened. um, and yeah, so we're doing all the homesteading farming stuff. So
That's very cool. And I'm also, I don't know that today we'll get into your farm, but it's you have an actual farm going on. So we live in very different types of homesteads, which I think is pretty cool.
yeah. Hey, but it all counts. So I think it's all awesome.
Yes. So like when you started this whole journey, like did you have anybody that you really looked up to? Do you still follow anybody? What like who do you like
Yeah.
learning hearing your stories from?
So when I was pregnant with my third child, that's when I started listening to Lisa Bass from
Mhm.
Farmhouse on Moon. And I kind of just started like, what is sourdough? Like I've heard people talk about it and I'm like, whatever. I don't care about that. And then I started listening to her podcast and she had like 8 kids or 7 kids. And I'm like, how did she do that? Like I'm struggling with 2. And I kind of got inspired by her. And then I found Shay Elliott and a Homemaker Chic podcast. And they were talking about sourdough and then like chemicals in our skincare. And those were the women that I really, and then that was during COVID. So I had nothing to do but listen to podcasts and learn how to make sourdough.
Yep.
And they changed my life. And now I'm here. And there was, oh yeah, Holistic Hilda. She's been
Mm,
really fun to listen to. If you don't know
that's
her,
one I have not.
okay,
I'll have to check her out.
yeah, she's awesome. She has a podcast. She's part of the Weston A. Price Foundation, and she's got really cool guests that come on her podcast. And I'm inspired by her too. She's awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, I started listening to Lisa probably like really early on, like
Yeah.
2019, I'm guessing, maybe 2018. I don't know when she
Oh no
started,
way.
but
Okay.
then so I actually started my blog based off of her course in 2020.
I took her
So
course too.
yeah, if anybody
Oh,
wants
cool.
to start a blog, she has a great course.
She does.
So yeah, I also kind of started this journey when I had my first, but I definitely
Yeah.
moved into things slower and I feel like I have no self-control when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like I feel like a lot of these biohacks only work if you do them so consistently. So
Yeah.
as far as biohacks go, like what are the main things that you do, have done?
Okay, so the first 3 that come to mind would be cold plunges, parasite cleanse, and fasting. And all 3 I have not done at least maybe 9 months, maybe 6 months. And yeah, it's all been really interesting. I've learned a lot about myself and what my body is not good at. And the hardest one I want to say was fasting for me. And I'm still going to continue to try, but I struggled hard with fasting.
Yeah, when you say fasting, so I've heard it different ways. Like my one friend fasts, but really it's only 12 hours from like dinner to breakfast, which really isn't like I think I'm 11 hours just by my regular schedule, right? So, like what do you mean like when you say fasting, what is a normal schedule like?
So I listened to a few YouTube videos of some doctors talking about the health benefits of your gut. And I was struggling with some gut issues. And I was listening to, I don't even know who was talking about it. I have it on my episode, the person that I listened to about the
Hmm.
health benefits that come from like just giving your gut a break. And I was struggling with some digestive issues. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. And she recommended doing 24 hours. So that is what I
Oof.
did. Full from dinner to dinner. So it pretty much was only 2 meals that I missed. And I'm like, okay, I can skip breakfast and lunch and do dinner. But the only part that I found very challenging is feeding kids all day and making really good food for them and then not eating any of it and being like, oh man, like breakfast was easy, but like lunch and snacks, I mean, then I started like, and then I had to make dinner and then I just couldn't, that was hard. But I
Yeah.
actually was fine for the 24 hours. It was the following day. I felt
Mm.
like I got hit by a bus. So after I had my break, like the when you break your fast, that meal, I went to bed and I woke up with a pounding headache. Like I felt like I was hungover and
Ooh,
partied, and it lasted for almost 2 days.
that's
Um,
frustrating.
I know. So I did reach out to two friends who do intermittent fasting, and then I had another friend suggest, like, say he fasts every week, and so I have some tips that I'm gonna implement the next day I fast. But
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I would have such a hard time because I usually this is why I keep gaining weight. I usually eat like whatever they don't eat on their plate, which is all the time is a
Oh, do
ton
you?
because like, you know,
You don't have chickens because I feed all
right?
my scraps to my chickens.
Yep, that's exactly what I would do. That's how I need to lose weight. We're not allowed to have chickens here. It's sad.
Oh,
Um,
it's okay. I
there's like a
understand. Don't want to waste
commission
the
of
food.
people I know. So that's why I have to eat it, right? And like you can't compost everything. So
It's so
especially
funny.
not, dinosaur chicken nuggets. So
Oh man. Yeah.
so so cold plunging, do you have a cold plunge at your house?
So I was using I was using like a water trough for my cow,
Hmm.
and they're really deep. And so I had one of those for a bit, and then for Christmas this year my husband actually got me a cold plunge.
Okay.
And I have not set it up yet because I'm like I don't know if I could do it. We have so much snow. I'm like
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do it. I think I need to start again in the spring. And yeah, I loved it. The first time I did it, I got such a cool head rush. It was just kind of incredible. And I don't know, I felt like it was addicting. Like I was craving to do it again.
Yeah, it's
And
probably good to start in the spring if you haven't been doing it regularly. I'm guessing
yeah.
it would be like a major shock to your system if you did it in the winter if you haven't been doing
Yeah.
it.
And then you want it to just be at 10 degrees. Any lower is actually not doesn't make a difference. And I was listening to Gary Brecka, I believe his name is, and he said like anything below 10 degrees doesn't really matter. So just stick to to that, and then your body can kind of adjust a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I've been able to do it. And usually I have like all my kids around and they're like, go, mommy, you can do hard things. And I'm like, thanks, guys. Don't talk to me right now. I need to like do my deep breathing. But yeah.
That's really cool. I really want one. I keep seeing there's this I wish that I knew her name. She's an influencer, and I believe that she is in Britain, and she just built this one in her backyard. And she has like a very small city backyard, like I do, but she like built this like magical oasis with
Oh,
it was like a much larger trough though, like a big circular one, like
okay.
I think it's 5 feet.
Okay.
Um, and I want one. She also uses it for her kids just to have a pool in the summer.
Yeah.
So
That's what
that
was
would be
actually
nice.
happening was my kids kept using my big trough like pool plunge, and it got so gross that I'm like I need an actual one with the zipper lid, and then it's not big enough for them to get in. So that's my
Yeah.
plan.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So do you have any kind of habits or rituals? Maybe they're not necessarily biohacks or But I mean, I feel like a lot of the natural wellness stuff these days is called a biohack. So what do you kind of incorporate into your regular wellness routine?
Oh man. Okay. So I have to wake up before my kids. So I try to always get an hour and a half of alone time, either I read my Bible or I read a good book. And I always have a good book on the go. And I don't go through books very quickly. So I usually do, like, if I get 1 to 2 pages, I'm so proud of myself. And yeah, so I always have a good book and I always wake up before my kids because I kind of need that space and I need to like mentally prepare. And I often go outside and do chores. And I really love it. That's like being outside, getting that fresh air and the quiet. Like my house is not quiet with 4 little kids. So that is really important. And I'm trying to think. Good coffee. I love really good coffee.
Same.
That's really important.
Yeah, we're coffee snobs over here. I really
Yeah.
like the idea of on an actual farm how there is such ritual and forcing you to go outside because you
Yeah.
have to.
Mhm.
And I have nothing that's forcing me. And I think that that's really where like
Yeah.
city homesteaders might kind of struggle. Also, getting up before my kids because my kids wake up at like 5:30. But
No
if I
way.
could get them to not do that, that would be super. I have tried every hack for that that
Oh
exists, but
no.
this is just when we wake up. So we just wake up
Sorry.
together, and I have implemented the time when I still try to read in the morning as well. I usually just get in a couple pages, but
That's still worth it, getting that
yeah.
page or two in.
But I need to try to figure out if anybody listening has any ideas of how a city homesteader that doesn't have to go outside, how can I actually get myself to do it? Because that's my problem with all of these things is that I'm not lazy. Like I do a lot of stuff all the time. I have 2 little kids. We're always doing things. But in the morning, I'm not wanting to go
Go have
outside
your
right now.
coffee outside. Try to just like
Mhm.
go open the door, stand outside. I have a porch and I have a chair that's kind of hidden. So the kids won't really notice me sneak out and I'll just sit there. Sometimes in the dark right now, it's getting dark early. So I'll just sit there with a cup of tea. And
Mm.
where I live, it's pitch black. So you see all the stars, you see everything. And then they find me and then it's over. But I can usually almost get 15 minutes. And
There we go. Look at us. 15 minutes. I love it. I Yes. I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I have a front porch, and no one's ever out that
Get a
early.
big
So
blanket, get your slippers on, and just do some deep breathing. That's what I do.
it's so cold right now.
I know, but it's so good for your lungs. Like it really is.
I think I need it right now too. If you're watching this on YouTube, I am makeup free. It is very late here, and I also am starting to get the flu like my children have. So I apologize for the appearance today, but
You look good. Don't worry.
oh, thank you. So I talked earlier about how like a lot of people with the biohacking, especially on Instagram, it's all about products. But I do want to know like what you actually use and love.
Yes, I love a few things. I have like maybe five. I can think of three on the top of my head that I use the most. So I'm really big into tallow.
Mm,
And I started because of Homemaker Chic, their podcast. They worked with Tubes and Co. and they would talk about their makeup. And it started with just cleaning out all the toxic chemicals in skincare, lotions, body soap, all those things. And then it opened up that door to tallow and never heard of that back probably around 2020, 2021 or 2022, around then.
hmm
And I just went down that path with Tubes and Co. and ordering makeup from them. But that took a while because it's so expensive to swap out all those. Like you can't. I was kind of at the point where I have to use it, and then when it's done, I'll order a brand new one. I couldn't just throw it out, and that was
Right.
hard for me to do. And that was the journey for makeup and skincare was that. The next one would be supplements I've started to take for pregnancy. So I struggled with my pregnancies and I found out really quickly that beef liver was vital for me to survive. And that is something I can't. Now I actually buy just grass-fed, grass-finished liver and I will saute it with my baby and we'll both eat it together with an orange. Well, he won't have an orange yet, but I will. And it's life-changing. Oh my goodness. For me, it is.
That's cool. So
And
you have cows, correct?
yes.
So do you use your own, are yours
No,
dairy
the
cows or are they beef
cows,
cows?
the
Dairy
dairy cow.
cows. Okay.
But I will order from a ranch near me,
Hmm.
and you can get like large quantities of fat or liver. And we've also ordered half a cow for beef, and we can ask for the fat back and the organs back. And that's what I do. I
Yeah.
experiment with all the.
Before I started buying like some of the bougie skincare products, I actually bought tallow from where I was getting my meat at the time, which I
Oh, no
used to get my
way.
meat from White Oak Pastures, which is like a huge, I don't know, they're huge in the regenerative farming world. You can actually pretty much anywhere in the US you could get their meat delivered.
Oh, cool.
They're great farm, but actually at the time I lived an hour away from there. So that was just happened to be the farm that I had. But if anybody's looking for meat delivered, you can definitely check out White Oak
Yeah.
Pastures. I usually recommend local, of course, though. So now I get mine locally. But when I was going there, you could get it was a pint mason jar full of tallow. Don't remember the price, but it was like maybe $11, which for that much, if you like make it with something else, I feel like could
That's a
definitely,
really good price. I
yeah.
spent $25 for a jar of lard. So,
Mm,
and that's
yeah.
like a regular mason jar. That's 25. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been more than that, or I don't know. A few years ago, it might have been less. It's probably more now.
Yeah.
So I need to ask my farm now. I actually still have tallow left from that time.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
kind of indefinite. I don't know,
You
but
should use it. I'm always
yeah,
looking for tallow. Message
I
the
have.
ranch today looking for more.
So when it comes like that, it's really hard. Do you whip it or do you like melt it? What do you do?
So so it depends. Sometimes it's already refined, or what is it called? Oh, I forget what the word is, but sometimes if you want to make a tallow, for your skin, I would melt it on the stove and then add an oil. And then
Hmm.
you want like essential oils. I use organic olive oil, and then I whip it once it solidifies, and then it makes it nice and fluffy. But
All
if you're
right.
using it for frying or making potatoes and eggs, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's what I have it next to my stove right now, just like
Yeah.
to, but I just like scrape
Yeah.
it out every time. It's so hard
Yeah.
to
You
get
have
it
to like
out.
whip it to make it nice and fluffy, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's great stuff.
very cool. Sorry.
Heart and Soil is where I do get my supplements, and I think they're from a pretty where are they from? I think they're from Texas, right? Or maybe not Texas, somewhere in the States, somewhere. But they have great supplements that
Okay.
I've
Yeah.
just been using every day. Right now, I'm doing the hormone one to get my cycle back because my baby's almost 1, and I'm missing my cycle still, and I'm like,
Oh,
I need it to come back.
I was someone that, even though I breastfed, my cycle always came back within 6 weeks, both
No
times.
way. I'm jealous because that's really good for it to come back. I know you probably don't want it to, but
Not
it's
that
so
fast.
your hormones. With my first two, it came back in 4 months. And now it's the last two children I've had. It's been almost a year. So
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
2 years
I don't know.
without a cycle.
Yeah, that's, I would actually be
Lots
okay with that. I don't know.
of
It depends. Yeah, I started taking, right. I was just taking the perfect supplements, beef liver, but then I switched and now I'm taking it's Primal Queen. They're
Okay,
like
I've
they sell
heard
it to
good
me on
things about them.
Instagram all the time. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's not just liver, it's all the organs. And it
Yeah.
has like
Okay.
beef uterus in it too.
That's the one
So,
I'm taking right now. The
hmm,
whole or her package. It has like the uterus, the ovaries,
yes.
but there is some liver. But for my pregnancies, I was doing just beef liver in the bone marrow one, but
Okay.
life changing.
Yeah. So right now I'm doing two cleanses and I've only
Hey,
like a week and a half in, but I feel like nothing is happening. And that's what I feel
the
about
first
some of this stuff.
one?
It's so subtle. I wish that I had like some life-changing experience with this, but truly, I don't know. So I'm doing a heavy metal detox with it's like an algae that was recommended.
Oh,
It's chlorella is
okay.
what
I've
it's
heard of that
called.
one.
It was recommended by I wish I knew this person's name, but she's like one of the leading cancer experts in the country for functional medicine. So she works with both regular medicine and like holistically to treat people. So really cool. So I'm taking that one. And then I'm also doing, it's just a tincture that I'm taking for candida. I think that I have
Okay.
candida overgrowth. I'm not sure. I
Okay.
have like a little, like a rash situation under my bust line,
Oh,
and
okay.
it has not gone away with any topical anything for
Oh,
like 2 or 3 years now.
no
So
way. Oh,
I should probably see somebody, but I'm trying this first. Anyway, so far, nothing, but we'll see. I don't know. It's like six
that
weeks you're
works.
supposed to give it. So
I think that's just like the point of all this is you got to try them, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Like I did when I did the parasite cleanse, I was like hoping for like a bunch of worms to come out. Like I wanted to be like it's working, but I really didn't. But can I don't know if you want me to share a story, but my parasite
please.
story. But okay, so my daughter struggles with gut issues. She's 4, and I like she went to the pediatrician. They wanted to take her tonsils out because she had this like bad breath, like an acid reflux kind of thing. And I was like, no, I'm gonna fix this on my own. Like she's not dying, but she has a smell in her breath and she is just not herself. Like she's moody, she gets sulky and quiet and has a really hard time leaving places. And I started doing this parasite cleanse for my own. And then one day we were at the park and I could just tell, like, this isn't going well. She ain't leaving without a fight. So I put all my kids in my car. Like I usually have to load all 3 into my van and then I have to go chase her because she's a runner. So I catch her. I have to carry her out over my shoulder, kicking and screaming. All the other parents are like, "Oh," it's just like normal for me now. And then I
Yeah.
put her in the car seat, and I look at her. I'm like, "Does your tummy hurt?" And she's like, she just nods at me, and I'm like, "You know what? I got some medicine we're gonna try when we get home." And I gave her a little bit of my parasite cleanse, and I want to say in 6 hours she was a different kid. And
Wow.
I did it for her for maybe 3 days and it was a tincture, right? So it has the garlic and all those the black walnut and all those things. And she went from really not communicating and like saying any words to like full sentences. Like my husband the week before was like, I don't think she understands her feelings and emotions and can like name anger and sadness. And I'm like, no, she does. Like she's 4, she knows. And it was like a night and day. And I
Wow.
don't know what she had. Like I was looking for worms in her when she went to the bathroom and I didn't see anything, but it was pretty cool. And
That's really
uh,
cool.
yeah, and then with her breath situation, I started implementing sauerkraut with her diet. And now we all just eat sauerkraut every day, all of us. And that completely healed her stomach acid issue.
So how'd you get your kids to one, eat sauerkraut? I used to get my babies to eat it and then they just stopped completely.
Oh,
Like hard
okay.
stop. No one will eat anything
You
healthy
know what I
anymore
did?
whatsoever.
I
What's
would
that?
run away and pretend that they couldn't have it and that it
Hmm.
was special. And they would chase me down and then they would have it. And I would be like, it's so good. Like and I would only give them like a tiny bit. So I totally, and now they're like, we want more. And I only buy really good stuff. And like there's really gross sauerkraut and
Yeah.
then there's a really amazing sauerkraut. And we've gone through all of the different types, and there's stuff my kids won't touch. So
Hmm.
I found some really good local companies, and it's the best. The stuff that's like made, I think, in like an industrial setting, I feel like it's not as good, doesn't taste as good. Yeah. So I would say the quality of your sauerkraut is really
Yeah.
important and
I
make it
usually make my own,
okay.
but
See, I'm
they,
not good at that.
you can totally do it. It's cabbage and salt.
I know I've
That's
tried. It doesn't work for I've tried like 4 times and I'm
Oh
like,
my
I'm just
goodness.
gonna buy it. I'm just gonna buy it. And it is really expensive because the brand I buy is really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to pretend that it's special at first and that they're not allowed to have it. And then I'm like, okay, fine, you can have a little bit. And then,
Yeah. And
then
you
they
were able
beg
to
me for
give
it.
your daughter the tincture because the one time I tried to give my kids a tincture directly, the one threw up like like an automatic throw up response to like the alcohol
Mix mine
taste.
with juice. So like Hascat
Yeah.
berry juice. And it's just it's funny. She likes things that are a little weird. Like
Hmm.
She wouldn't, if I mixed it with water, she wouldn't drink it. But I think it tasted disgusting with juice. Like I tried it. I'm like, oh, it's worse. But she was just like, nope, this is the only way I want it. And like I've tried to give her medicine for things before, and she would only take it straight. And I thought, oh, I would dilute it for her to help her. And she wouldn't take it diluted. She only wanted like straight syringe in her mouth. And
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is easier than I thought. Like I thought I was gonna have to like shove it down your throat.
Yeah, that's
But
how I do. Like if I brew like an echinacea tea or something for them, I'll put it with juice or something in like a medicine syringe and they'll take it that way. But yeah, I haven't tried tinctures again since the since the
that's a
throwing
big
up
one.
incident.
That's hard. It's a big mess.
To be fair, sometimes I hate taking tinctures depending what they are.
Yeah.
The one I'm taking right now is awful.
What is it?
Awful. So it's the Candida Cleanse one, and it's really, really strong. It has a bunch of stuff in it, but the clove and turmeric are the things that I'm tasting. And it's like
Powerful.
so like it actually tastes like you're biting cloves, which is very strong. And so it's a little rough for me. And then I like try to like drink something after, and then if I'm using this, like turmeric, like it's just yellow everywhere. It's horrible. Everything's gross. But
Oh man. Hey, that is similar to when I have like the beef liver. When I cook the beef liver, I
mm,
can't, when I have to chew it, I have to go brush my teeth after, but it's worth it based on my mood and my energy levels, but it's pretty nasty.
yeah. See, that's so good. That's what I need to have some kind of motivating factor to continue this stuff. I also have red light and I
Okay.
literally have it above my bed. It's like a lamp like with like a arm that goes over.
Yeah.
And I put it there because I knew that if I had to actually get it out, I would never use it. So I have it there and I still don't use it very often.
You gotta like make a timer on your phone
Yeah,
every day,
I
8
know. But
a.m.
then
And I get
I
all the
don't know.
kids in bed with you and do it together.
Yeah, I don't know. The one I have came with goggles. So I'm confused as if you're like some people I see doing it without goggles and they say it's good for your eyes. And then some people wear goggles. So I just don't know what you're
Yeah,
supposed to do.
I've never done it, and I start so many things. I haven't gone there yet because I would have to buy it,
Yeah.
and there's so many things to
Well,
buy.
that's why I bought an Amazon one too. So I'm like,
Mhm.
is this one really good enough? But I'm not going to buy like a
What
$700
does
one,
it do
especially.
exactly? Like, what is its purpose?
So I bought it one for helping like smooth out wrinkles. I think
Okay.
the Zoom is smoothing me out, but my forehead has some good wrinkles here. And then also, it can kill like fungus and bacteria. So I actually bought it for that situation that I have
Oh,
going on
okay.
here. So it can just kind of kill any situation you have there.
Tried it for that area.
Yes,
Okay,
but I
not
guess
consistently.
not consistently enough, or it doesn't do anything. Hard to say. If there's anybody listening that swears by red light and has one that they love, let me know. I tried to
Maybe.
research like the different kind of I don't know if they're watts or whatever it was, and this one was supposed to be the right kind. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think I probably need to do some more reading on it. I'm just like drowning in all the things I want to do right now, and everything's
I
so
know.
expensive.
Yes. Now this one was $70, which is much
Okay,
less
that's not
than the ones
bad.
that are like $700, right?
Oh,
So yeah, so it's very
man.
cool. And then the last thing, have you done anything with castor oil?
Oh, yes. I love
Do you
castor
put it in your belly button? People
oil.
do that. People put it in their belly button every day, and I tried it for a while, but it's
Why?
so that can help like if you're like have issues with bloating and like inflammation in your belly, it can help with that.
I have never heard that. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it.
So that's the thing. The only reason I didn't like it is because it's like so goopy that like you kind of have to cover it with something or you get oil all over your shirt.
Yeah. So I usually do like a carrier oil or do two oils, like an almond oil mixed with the castor oil. But
Mm,
with what we use it for, it's probably best just straight. But what do I use it for? Oh my goodness. I use it for all our massages. I do like essential oils, castor oil massage kind of thing. And then I've used it for my skin on my face.
mm,
I had like blepharitis for a little bit, which was like dry skin on my eyelashes. So I used that and that helped. And then the biggest one was my daughter actually had a cyst on her rib cage when she was 4 months old. And I decided to use it on that. And it was funny. So when she was like 3 months, she had this little bump And I took her to the doctor. They did an ultrasound. It wasn't really concerning. And then they're like, well, we can remove it because it started growing. And then it started growing this long black hair. And it was kind of weird. And she's like 4 months. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. It's getting bigger and bigger. And so I had one friend say, hey, you should try frankincense essential oil. So I did that for maybe 3 weeks and I didn't see any difference. And then I'm like, I use castor oil all the time. It's always on my counter. And I'm like, this is good for your ovaries, for cysts, for deep tissue issues. So I'm like, I'm going to just apply it to her cyst every time I change her diaper. So I had a little jar above her change table and I would just do it. And it was just so natural, so quick. And I want to say in a month, that cyst was completely gone. And I could see it visibly shrinking every week. It was like half the size. And I was like blown away because my doctor, I love my doctor. I'm not against doctors, but he was telling me I should not use any essential oils or anything on her body because it's dangerous. But he wanted her to get it removed at the hospital. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not ready to put her under the knife at 4 months, but I'm going to
Right.
try some really gentle oils. And they have their own thoughts on oils and things like that. And it was gone. And I'm like, see, like that was so uninvasive and gentle and it worked and it's never come back. She's now almost 3 and it's never come back.
Yeah. I
And
had a I thought it was like a cyst or something, but then I realized that I think it was actually like a scar tissue from like an
okay.
acne spot. And that cleared it up within like 2 weeks. And it was like
Wow.
hard. It was like on my side where my rolls are. No. Like, and I think it was like, I don't know. Things are weird after pregnancy all around. But yeah, so that definitely cleared that up. So pretty cool.
And it's just so good. Like if you have inflammation in certain areas too, like just massaging it. And like we massage it, like my children, when they get a wound, I will put it in the wound with like myrrh essential oil or something powerful. And it heals a lot of wounds. It cuts very easily. So
Very cool.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Interesting. So I think what we've all learned from this podcast is that there's lots of more things to research and consistency is probably key for all of it. So
Yeah.
I need to find a way to be more consistent with pretty much everything.
Tomorrow morning with your coffee, sit outside.
Okay, I'm going to do it. I will report back. I'm going to post this tomorrow morning on my Instagram, unless
okay.
I wake up with a severe fever, which is possible. But otherwise, I will do that.
Yes.
So please let everybody know where they can find you.
Okay, so I am on Instagram and my Instagram is Wellness Farm Chat. And I just started a YouTube channel so you can watch me record my shows. I'm still new and it still kind of feels weird, but I know that's what you should do if you have a podcast. So I am there. And where else am I? I have a Facebook community page. So if you want to join our Wellness Farm Chat community, that is another option. And yeah, I think that's where I am. I'm not on like Snapchat or what are the other ones? TikTok? Is that a thing?
TikTok, yeah. I'm not on
I don't
TikTok
know.
either.
Yeah, I'm not on
too old
anything else.
apparently.
Yeah, just I want to say Instagram and Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on here and chatting with us about your experiences with all of this stuff. It's so interesting to hear what everybody tries. I think a lot of us are kind of newer to some of this stuff. And so it is fun to try it all out. And yeah, it seems like our best hack so far might be castor oil and maybe parasite cleanses for kids.
Yes, with the gut
very
issues.
Cool. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on, and hopefully I will get to chat with you again soon.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.